Hey guys, it's Prince Missy here, and usually I make very silly um, live streams and videos of me playing video games or sending up a play of the game from Overwatch. But today I'm here with something a bit more serious. Today we're going to be talking about FeatherMoonX, and it seems like I'm jumping on this bad bandwagon, and in some way I am, but I did. I've had this for a long time. I've told people about it. I've just been very selective about it because I did tell a group of people, and in a way, shape, and form, I was rejected from the whole thing, and it didn't end very good for my self-esteem and self-worth. So before we begin, I have about 2 to 3 things. One, I have cats in my room. I can't control what they do, so if you hear some background noise like them meowing, them fighting, or Bailey trying to scratch the wall, I can't help that. Number two, I'm using my school laptop. The camera does not work, so I'll be using pictures of myself for, interpersonal stuff and screenshots from the whole thing. I'm not going to read them all out, but I'm going to give you a consensus of what's happened. Um, Number three, the sound might be a little bit choppy, it might be a little long. And that's because I'm not doing with the script. I'm going just off. And so if it sounds choppy because I take a long pause and then go to my next point, that's why. So to begin with this, I've known Feather Moon since 2016 or the very beginning of 2017. And at that time, I was 15. We had mutual friends, and that's how I met him through having similar friends. And at first, I didn't really think he was all that. I thought he was a little weird, but I didn't foresee him ever really talking to him one on one. And I would be in group calls, so I didn't really think it was a big deal. So let me fast forward you into August of 2017. I'm about a couple weeks from my birthday. I've had already met him in person from KatsuCon, which was in February of that year, and we're talking in a group call between myself, a mutual friend, and him. Now, this is where I'm going to be posting little screenshots. I Miss Wanna Die, and Feather Moon is Feather Moon. Um, it begins off the conversation of how, before the DM starts, is that I had been talking to that mutual friend that reminiscing about at her party that we giggled and joked about um, asking her boyfriend's shoe size, cutting it in half, and that's his dick size. And it was just a very popular thing that we did back when I was 14, 13. And Feather was listening, and, I had made a comment that I wish I knew if that thing was true, because I don't. It's not like I have really any male friends or male anything. And I was a little bit curious, but not fully. Um, this is where I'm wrong. Really, I shouldn't probably have instigated this at all or carried through with all this other stuff, but I really didn't know what to do, and I was a bit anxious. I had been sexually abused before, not by a guy, but just in general, and I had a lot of trauma with it, undealt trauma with it at the time, so I had only known just to go with it instead of saying something. So I make a mention that I would bring a tape measure to Katsucon with me, and Feather was like, "All right, I'll be like your person you can experiment on." So here's everything. I'm just gonna go through it. You can pause if you really need to read it, stop and read it, stop and do whatever. But I'm gonna continue talking. Uh, it gets worse as you read because it goes from something silly and minute and something that was meant to be taken as a joke about measuring someone's dick, uh, to being told that I need to give him, well, a suggestion that I need to give him a hand job, and it slowly morphs into a blow job from a bet. Um, by the end of this, I tell him that I don't want to do it because it's weird. It just made me really uncomfortable, and he turned it into a joke afterwards. Whenever he brought it up on DMs on Twitter or any other time. Uh, But the main thing that really threw me through a loop was in the way beginning when he said that I shouldn't tell anybody. This, whether we do it or not, should be kept secret. Because that told me at 15 that this 20-some-year-old dude knew what he was going to say or do was not a good thing and didn't want other people to know about it. Yeah, I immediately tell my best friend of that time. I immediately tell her. And I'm still on this group call with our other mutual friend. I get to the point where I get so sick I have to leave because I'm freaking out. Like, I get anxiety sick and I just need some alone time to figure out what am I doing. And it's a little bit late at night, like around midnight, 11 o'clock at night. And so we make this arrangement for KatsuCon, and it gets worse and worse and worse. Knowing that I had met him at KatsuCon that year in cosplay, kind of really threw me through a loop when he said stuff about that making him hard. It really kind of like fucked with me. I'm like, oh my god, did I do that? And that's really gross and stuff like that. But I stopped talking to him after that. I had told my friends, and some people chose to forgive him because he seemed really sorry. I wasn't one of those people, and some people weren't, who were like on my side about it, were like, no, this is pretty unacceptable. Fast forward about a year or two, about a year or so, um, I messaged Feather again because I really have no friends. My life has gone to the wayside a little bit, and I'm not so much interested in being his friend as I am being interested in his friend's friend. And so this is where I meet a very lovely, cute girl who is sweeter than pie. And I decide to keep my instances with Feather to myself until I talk to this girl a bit more and I ask her something because she always felt a little bit uncomfortable when we would talk with him or talk about him. And I'm going to keep her name out of this, but I don't have screenshots for this either. But she had told me, relayed the information to me that he wanted to cream pie her and that um, he wanted to marry her to have sex because she's a very traditional person, doesn't want to have sex till marriage and stuff like that. And it was just very, very disgusting to me because she was 16, 17 at that time. And it was just awful because I thought maybe after the whole ordeal with myself that he really would have thought about not doing stuff like that again to ruin his reputation, his everything. And no, he continued to do disgusting stuff with underage girls. And I talked to somebody, a couple other people that had had similar situations, um, and it just felt like he wasn't learning, and it was really appalling to me. I know I'm not the first girl. I know I'm not the last one. And see what's happened to another mutual acquaintance who I do know, and I do know Pershi not very well, but it's really blew me off my lid. I reported to the authorities about this about a year or so after it happened because I felt like, you know what, it's not a big deal anymore. I didn't want to press charges. It really felt like it was just a mess and I didn't want to deal with it. I showed my new therapist, and since she was a mandated reporter, you know, she got everything and sent it out. We made an anonymous claim. And, that was about almost a year ago, November. Um, I'm really, this sounds really mean, but I'm really happy that people are stepping out because I want nothing more than people to step out and say, hey, this has happened to me. This isn't okay. My whole right of doing this isn't for any self purpose reason, it's to educate, bring awareness, and hopefully stop someone that's really disgusting because I don't want another person to go through that. And I would put myself on the line sometimes, be like, I don't want this to happen, and I'll do something about it. And so I'm really happy that things are happening this way. And I really do hope that people see him for what he really is. I know I'm going to get called attention seeking. People are going to victim blame. People are going to say whatever. And that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, you're wrong because da 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 da. You feel differently than I feel. That's completely okay. But this is proof of what happened, non doctored. That's just the screenshots are a little bit wonky because I was snipping them on my desktop. And, I have a whole Google Doc of this. So, to all those out there who got victim blamed, who went through this, and who feel disgusted, don't. It's really not your fault, especially if you're underage. He should have known better. He's an adult, and you're a child. Well, you're a minor. And there's other ways that we can bring up about this situation and educate, bring awareness to these problems with not just Feather, with other people, especially people who have somewhat power, since he is a Twitch affiliate and makes money. I really just hope all the people that he's hurt and made want to just curl in the ball and die don't feel this way anymore. And if you ever need to talk to me, I'm always here. My Twitter handle is underscore Prince Missy underscore. You can always send me a message and we can talk if you need to. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.